Hey everybody, hello and welcome. In today's video, we're officially moving on to Taylor Swift's 1989 era. And I know some of you are excited about this because a lot of you have actually reached out. Some have been so kind to actually put together a document with some interesting theories and some direction for me to kind of go off of after I've reacted to each song. Hannah, if you're watching, thank you. I do appreciate it. I know you did this like 3 months ago. I'm just kind of slow. Now, look, man, here's the thing. I could totally plow through all this content in a couple streams, 3-4 hours a piece, and really just get the entire package, everything that we go over in just a few sittings, and then just be done with it. And I'm sure some of you would probably like that. But here's the thing, man. If I was to do that, I don't think I'd really absorb the content. I don't think I would, really be as into it as I am now. Some of these albums need time to breathe. They need time to open up. They need time to really kind of like imprint on your soul. And yes, I know I'm slow, but hey, at least I'm thorough. Before we begin, I thought it'd be fun to check out some of the music that was popular from 1989. This won't take too long. I'm going to edit it so it's very quick for everybody, but I thought it'd be fun to possibly enjoy some of the music Taylor Swift was conceived to. Oh yeah, that's Baby making music. Also, Baby making music, 100%. This reminds me of like my middle school dance, like the girls on one side, the guys on the other side in the gym. But when a jam like this was coming on, it's time to get down. You're going to be slow dancing. Space for Jesus.
They say I'm nasty, but I don't give a damn.
This is definitely a transitional era of music. We're coming off of the high of these massive 80s big hair bands and the spandex and the power guitars. And apparently we were all ready to feel. We were ready to get in our feels and get down with some slow jams and do some slow dancing. I don't know what it was. Maybe we just like the sound of our windbreakers coming together for dancing and that swooshy sound. That's my theory. That's why we have this music. Because of the windbreakers. Anyway, let's check these photos out real quick. All right, seagulls. Yeah, okay. She's on a boat. There's a dock. She's very flexible. Digging the white shirts. Cool sweater. Now Taylor Swift is yelling at me. I wonder, is this even a comfortable position? I don't even know. All right. Something's hilarious. Oh, she's got ice cream. That's nice. There's a dune over there. I like this sweater. I like the retro kind of 70s look. Again with the white. Yeah, she's looking cool. She's looking good. I wonder if these photos were taken in, she's got a house in Rhode Island that's actually kind of close to where I am. I go to the same beach. Not that I go often because beaches are just bad. It's a bad time at the beach. There's just really nothing to do. And there's sharks. No. Fuck that. Okay, so she's in some more sand. It's going to get everywhere. There's no way to like walk in sand without getting underneath your slippers or your sandals there. And then you're going to get in the car and then it smells like salt and fish in your car. It's a bad idea. Don't go to the beach. I do not recommend it. So she's sitting in the sand in jeans. Also a bad idea. It's going to get in every crevice. Not good. Yep. Okay. Pensively looking off into the distance. The sunset goes down. Yeah. Okay. Very cute. All right. This ice cream is getting everywhere. It's getting everywhere. She needs to eat that real quick or she's got a huge problem on her hands. You don't want to throw it away. All right. But at the same time, you do not want to be sticky. She's got herself a bike with a basket in it. Like it. Retro. Cool. Dig it. Another look. Looks like she's wearing kind of like a one-piece bathing suit, but it's made of some kind of velour or something. Do you swim in that thing? Looking good, man. So this right here, like the jeans and the white t-shirt look, like that's very late 80s, early 90s. Okay. Yeah, this ice cream is still melting everywhere. She's gonna hurry up or she's gonna have a big problem on her hands. All right, this is the sweater again. Looks like she's standing on a place where you're supposed to sit. Very rebellious. All right, she's sitting down. There's the moon. It's out of focus. More sand. It's going to get everywhere. Now she's kicking it. This is dangerous because when you start kicking sand around, you run the risk of actually getting sand in your eye, which is very dangerous. All right. That shit is hard to get out of your eye. And what are you going to do? Go to the ocean and wash it out of your eye? Get more salt in your eye? I don't think so. Yeah, she's kicking it around. She's just, no concern for her eye. I don't see any protective eyewear on her eyes. All right. She's got that sweater on again. Close up look. Okay. So little light vandalism at the beach. Nothing too bad. But I do have this Twitter or X thing here, and I don't like to gloat, but I do have 299 followers. Am I a celebrity? I mean, debatable, but yes. All right, so I was also asked to check out the prologue before we got into the album, and apparently there's two different versions. There's the handwritten version, and then there's a typed prologue. Let's read over this real quick right now. I was born in 1989, reinvented for the first time in 2014, and part of me was reclaimed in the 2023 with a re-release of this album. I love so dearly. Never in my wildest dreams did I imagine the magic you would sprinkle into my life so long ago. Okay. This moment is reflection of woods we've wandered through and all this love between us still glowing in the darkest of dark. I present you with capital T in there. That's random. I present you with gratitude, wild wonder, my version of 1989. It's been waiting for you. Fans also couldn't help but notice how the singer capitalized the T's in her message. Yeah, I noticed that too. I just assumed there were some typos in there. Here's a type prologue. Oh my God, that's so long. All right, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna have the robot read this for us. All right, robot, tell me what Taylor Swift's talking about.
Type prologue. When I was 24, I sat in a backstage dressing room in London, buzzing with anticipation. My backup singers and bandmates gathered around me in a scattered circle. Scissors emerged and I watched in the mirror as my locks of long curly hair fell in piles on the floor. There I was in my plaid button-down shirt, grinning sheepishly as my tourmates and friends cheered on my haircut. This simple thing that everyone does. But I had a secret. For me, it was more than a change of hairstyle. When I was 24, I decided to completely reinvent myself. How does a person reinvent herself, you ask? In any way I could think of. Musically, geographically, aesthetically, behaviorally, motivationally. And I did so joyfully.
Okay.
The curiosity I had felt the first murmurs of while making Red had amplified into a pulsing heartbeat of restlessness in my ears. The risks I took when I toyed with pop sounds and sensibilities on Red? I wanted to push it further. The sense of freedom I felt when traveling to big bustling cities? I wanted to live in one. The voices that had begun to shame me in new ways for dating like a normal young woman? I wanted to silence them.
All right.
You see, in the years preceding this, I had become the target of slut-shaming, the intensity and relentlessness of which would be criticized and called out if it happened today.
Yeah.
The jokes about my amount of boyfriends. The trivialization of my songwriting as if it were a predatory act of a boy-crazy psychopath.
Jesus.
The media co-signing of this narrative. I had to make it stop because it was starting to really hurt. It became clear to me that for me there was no such thing as casual dating, or even having a male friend who you platonically hang out with. If I was seen with him, it was assumed I was sleeping with him. And so I swore off hanging out with guys, dating, flirting or anything that could be weaponized against me by a culture that claimed to believe in liberating women but consistently treated me with the harsh moral codes of the Victorian era. Being a consummate optimist, I assumed I could fix this if I simply changed my behavior. I swore off dating and decided to focus only on myself, my music, my growth, and my female friendships. If I only hung out with my female friends, people couldn't sensationalize or sexualize that, right?
Well,
I would learn later on that people could and people would. But none of that mattered then because I had a plan and I had a demeanor as trusting as a basket of golden retriever puppies. I had the keys to my own apartment in New York and I had new melodies bursting from my imagination.
okay.
I had Max Martin and Shellback who were happy to help me explore this new sonic landscape I was enamored with. I had a new friend named Jack Antonov who had made some cool tracks in his apartment. I had the idea that the album would be called 1989, and we would reference big 80s synths and write sky-high choruses. I had sublime, inexplicable faith, and I ran right toward it. In high heels and a crop top. There was so much that I didn't know then, and looking back I see what a good thing that was. This time of my life was marked by right kind of naivete, a hunger for adventure, and a sense of freedom I hadn't tasted before.
Okay.
It turns out that the cocktail of naivete, hunger for adventure and freedom can lead to some nasty hangovers, metaphorically speaking. Of course everyone had something to say. But they always will. I learned lessons, paid prices, and try to. Don't say it. Don't say it. I'm sorry, I have to say it. Shake it off.
Oh,
I'll
fuck.
always be so incredibly grateful for how you loved and embraced this album. You, who followed my zigzag creative choices and cheered on my risks and experiments. You, who heard the wink and humor in blank space and maybe even empathized with the pain behind the satire. You, who saw the seeds of allyship and advocating for equality and welcome to New York. You, who knew that maybe a girl who surrounds herself with female friends in adulthood is making up for a lack of them in childhood. You, who saw that I reinvent myself for a million reasons, and that one of them is to try my very best to entertain you. You, who have had the grace to allow me the freedom to change. I was born in 1989, reinvented for the first time in 2014, and a part of me was reclaimed in 2023 with the re-release of this album I love so dearly. Never in my wildest dreams did I imagine the magic you would sprinkle on my life for so long. This moment is a reflection of the woods we've wandered through and all this love between us still glowing in the darkest dark. I present to you, with gratitude and wild wonder, my version of 1989.
So there it is. We're officially on Taylor 2.0, and there's a picture up here of the Girl Squad. All right, so this must be all of the ladies, all the single ladies, or not single, I don't know. I like this line down over here. Not starting a tyrannical hot girl cult, she writes tongue-in-cheek later on. You know, I think the world would benefit from a couple hot girl tyrannical girl cults. I don't think anybody would mind. Ladies, start it up, do it. I support you. All right, now we're moving on to Hannah's list over here. Like I said, Hannah was nice enough to put this document together for us a few months ago, and we're finally getting into it now. Look, she's got all broken down into chapters for me and everything. Thank you so much, Hannah. We got some vault tracks. I probably won't do the vault tracks today, but I'm going to do my best to get through at least all 16 of these tracks today. I don't want to read too much. I'm just going to read about. 1989 was Taylor Swift's fifth studio album, originally released October 27th, 2014. Her version was released on October 27th, 2023. Yeah, it was a couple months ago. Everybody's really excited about it. At the time, it was her first album officially called a pop album. She also moved to New York, and in an interview, she said, I wrote 1999 when I was single. I didn't have much intense drama going on. I was living with my friends, and I was living in New York, and everything was exciting. Even though she said she got a lot of criticism at the time, and I would say especially because of the paparazzi following her more and more, she had some drama going on. I mean, that's to be expected. You know, it's Taylor Swift in the city, you know. Her friend group called the Girl Squad. Oh, they... I thought it was the hot girl cult. Her friend group called the Girl Squad was criticized because they were a group of celebrities. Yeah, all right. In Miss Americana, you can hear a couple people saying things like she's too skinny, or all of her model friends. Okay, so that was a criticism of like that hot girl cult. The 1999 World Tour was also mentioned as a time of her life when she had an eating disorder. Oh no, we're moving on to this. And felt like she was going to pass out during or after the concert. Oh, dude, this is going to be tough to watch the concerts. That's like all I'm going to be thinking about. So in my opinion, the 1989 era was not all fun and games, but it seemed like she had lots of fun during that time. And you can also hear both of these things in her music. All right, so what I can gather from Hannah and what I can gather from the prologue is this is a major shift in her life. She has reinvented herself. This is Taylor 2.0. She has cut her hair. She's not hanging out with guys. She's just hanging out with the Girl Squad. So hopefully she doesn't get talked about in the papers about being some kind of, you know, promiscuous girl or whatever, even though like everybody when they're young just dates around. It's just what happens to all of us. But most likely, most of us don't have a camera in our face documenting every decision we make. But she's doing it. She's moving to New York. She's surrounding herself with hopefully some positive female influences. But on the flip side of that, this is a time in her career where she may have had some issues with some eating issues. And I remember this from the Miss Americana documentary when she just like was in the car and she was talking about like if she's too skinny, her ass is too flat, and like just finally figuring out there's no way for her to be perfect and she might as well just enjoy, the baked treats that she cooks, It was sweet to watch that, see her have that realization that she's just going to be her, that she's just going to be healthy and not have to be too focused on her appearance, Obviously, we all look much better when we're younger. When you get old, you just start falling apart and looking like shit. It happens to all of us. But hey, it's the passage of time. It's just what happens. I say embrace it. Embrace it, I'm embracing my dad bod. Kind of whimsical. Very playful.
Walking through a crowd, the village is aglow. Kaleidoscope of loud heartbeats under coast. Everybody here wanted something more. Searching for a sound we hadn't heard before. And I said, welcome to New York. It's been waiting for you. Welcome to New York. Welcome to New York. Welcome to New York. It's been waiting for you. Welcome to New York. Welcome to New York. It's a new soundtrack. I could dance to this beat. Forevermore. The lights are so bright, but they never blind me. Welcome to New York. It's been waiting for you. Welcome to New York. Welcome to New York. When we first dropped our bags on apartment floors, took our broken hearts, put them in a drawer. Everybody here was someone else before, and you can want who you want. Boys and girls and girls. Welcome to New York.
It's an interesting line.
Welcome to New York. Welcome to New York. Welcome to New York. It's been waiting for you. Welcome to New York. Welcome to New York. It's a new soundtrack. I could dance to this beat. Forevermore. The lights are so bright, but they never blind me. Welcome to New York. It's been waiting for you. Welcome to New York. Welcome to New York. Like any great love, it keeps you guessing. Like any real love, it's ever changing. Like any true love, it drives you crazy. But you know you wouldn't change anything, anything, anything. Welcome to New York. It's been waiting for you. Welcome to New York. Welcome to New York. Welcome to New York. It's been waiting for you. Welcome to New York. Welcome to New York. It's a new soundtrack. I could dance to this beat. The lights are so bright, but they never blind me. Welcome to New York soundtrack. It's been waiting for you. Welcome to New York. The lights are so bright, but they never blind me. Welcome to New York. So bright, they never blind. Welcome to New York. Welcome to New York.
All right, there it is. Welcome to New York. And there's definitely some interesting things happening lyrically here. But before I dive into that, I almost feel like this is a direct continuation of a different song. Yeah, I could be completely wrong on this, but I cannot help but think of the song Mean. The music video, everything is so bluegrass. It's definitely like a country girl. And like, especially like this line right here.
Someday I'll be living in a big old city, and all you're ever gonna be is me.
So that was the first thing I thought of when I was listening to this. I'm like, okay, she's finally made it. She's, you know, it's not someday she's gonna be living in this city. You know, she's finally here and she's reinventing herself. For me, there's a couple lines in this song that really hit me. This one in particular, when we first dropped our bags on the apartment floor, took our broken hearts and put them in the drawer. And this line over here, everybody here was somebody else before. I'm not sure if she's talking about the previous residents of her apartment or if she's just talking about people that moved to New York in general. But there's definitely that feeling, you know, whenever I move to a new place, you know, like I feel like the ghost of the previous residents are still there, even if they didn't die, like their energy is just still lurking around or something. And this line over here, boys and girls, you know, you can be with whoever you want to be with. In the past, I've seen her talk about in interviews how she's, you know, obviously pro LGBTQ. I think it's the way you say it. I'm sorry. I don't mean disrespect if I got it wrong. I'm just an idiot. Which I know by today's standards is not exactly a taboo thing to talk about. It's not like some kind of like strange thing. Like chances are you have a gay friend or you know somebody that's gay or whatever, and you realize they're just people. But you got to remember, you know, she started in the vein of country music. You know, that was her sound. She was this country little princess thing. And, you know, country music does tend to lean a little bit more towards the right than, I don't know, progressive styles of music or whatever. That's not a dig on any political party. I do not want to do politics anymore. So I'm happy that she came out and basically said, no, fuck that. I'm 100% okay with this, as you should be. But I would imagine some of the, what would she call us? The dads and the chads. I would imagine some of those people may have gotten a little bit of a shock when she came out and basically said, no, I'm super supportive about this because I'm not a fucking asshole. But the entire aura of this song just kind of oozes excitement, you know, really embracing the lights, embracing this new lifestyle, and really just being excited and happy for what you're about to experience. I think it's a great little opening track, honestly. It really explains what's going on, her mindset. It starts off in a celebratory and positive way. You know, she's about to close that drawer and start her new life over, and I think she's just very happy about it. So, great little album opener. All right, let's see what a Swiftie has to say about this one. This song is the perfect opener for a new album and for Taylor's pop era. It's a fun song commenting on the feeling of freedom, opportunities in New York. Yeah, 100%. I totally see that. She talked about the city a lot in interviews, and it seems like she's really enjoying her time there. Which, as far as I know, is the first time Taylor supported the LGBTQI, there's an A now? Plus community. In one of her songs. She tried not to make it a big deal, probably because she thought that it shouldn't be a big deal, who you love. As you know from Miss Americana, she chose to be louder about her opinions later in her career. Yeah, exactly.
Why you gotta be so mean?
You know I gotta finish that song.
Nice to meet you, where you been? I could show you incredible things. Magic, madness, heaven, sin. Saw you there and I thought, oh my God, look at that face. You look like my next mistake. Love's a game, wanna play. Hey. New money, suit and tie. I can read you like a magazine. Ain't it funny? Rumors fly, and I know you heard about me. So hey, let's be friends. I'm dying to see how this one ends. Grab your passport and my hand. I can make the bad guys good for a weekend. So it's gonna be forever, or it's gonna go down in flames. You can tell me when it's over, if the high was worth the pain.
You guys are gonna kill me. Obviously, I know this song. I think it was everywhere at one point, but I didn't even know it was Taylor Swift. I've heard this song. I just didn't even think it was Taylor Swift. I like this line here. I can make the bad guys good for a weekend.
I can make the bad guys good for a weekend. So it's gonna be forever, or it's gonna go down in flames. You can tell me when it's over, if the high was worth the pain. Got a long list of ex-lovers, they'll tell you I'm insane. 'Cause you know I love the players, and
You love the game.
we're young and reckless. We'll take this way too far. It'll leave you breathless, or with the nasty
I love the creeping acoustic.
list of ex-lovers, they'll tell you I'm insane. But I've got a blank space, baby, and I'll write your name.
Great use of atmosphere.
Cherry lips, crystal skies. I could show you incredible things. Stolen kisses, pretty lies.
Pretty
You're the
lies.
king, baby. I'm your queen. Find out what you want.
changing herself for somebody else?
Screaming, crying, perfect storms. I can make all the tables turn. Rose garden filled with thorns. Keep you second guessing like, oh my.
It's all contrast.
Who is she? I get drunk on jealousy, but you come
I like that
back
too.
each time you leave. 'Cause darling, I'm a nightmare dressed
Oh.
like a daydream. So it's gonna be forever.
A nightmare dressed like a daydream?
Down in flames. You can tell me when it's over. If the high was worth the pain. Got along like Starbucks lovers. They'll tell you I'm insane. 'Cause you know I love the players. And
You love the game.
'cause we young and reckless. We'll take this way too far. It'll leave you breathless. Or with a nasty scar. Got along like Starbucks lovers. They'll tell you I'm insane. But I've got a blank space, baby. And I'll write your name. Boys only want love if it's torture.
Maybe.
Don't say I didn't warn ya. Boys only want love.
I feel
if it's
attacked.
Torture. Don't say I didn't warn ya. So it's gonna be forever, or it's gonna go down in
It's an earworm.
Tell me when it's over. If the high was worth the pain. Got along like Starbucks lovers. They'll tell you I'm insane. 'Cause you know I love the players. And you love the game. 'Cause we're young and we're reckless. We'll take this way too far. It'll leave you breathless. Or leave a nasty scar.
I love it layering.
They'll tell you I'm insane, but I've got a blank space, baby, and I'll write your name.
Yeah, this is one of those songs that I definitely have heard. I don't know where. It was probably in the radio or something, but I didn't put two and two together. I didn't even know it was Taylor Swift, but I do remember liking this song. I just don't remember why I like the song. I was probably impressed with the atmosphere and the acoustic guitar and everything slipping up and basically the cutting out of like all the big synths and everything and just how it drops, but still feels cohesive. Yeah, I got to admit, this one's a complete earworm. I like the fidelity of this one. I like the structure of it. You know, very rarely can you have a song that drops everything and everything just goes quiet. You lose all that atmosphere. All the soaring synths are gone. The drums, everything just stops. And, you know, the vocals just change to right in your ear like that. Usually when that happens, you know, you're kind of taken out of the immersion of that song. But in Blank Space, that doesn't really happen. And I think that really comes down to the structure, the way everything builds. It's slow moving, but at the same time, it feels like just an earworm. That's the only way to really describe it. And it's a nice mix too of, you know, those soaring synths that she was talking about and that acoustic guitar. There's so much chorus on that guitar, but I love it. It fits so well. It's so shimmery and so bright. And I don't know, it just kind of ties the whole thing sonically together. Now, as far as lyrically where this goes, I think it's kind of all over the place, or maybe I'm just not smart enough to grasp everything that's happening all at once, but I'm going to do my absolute best here. So lyrically, this is definitely interesting as well. I don't think I ever paid attention to lyrics until just now. But there is some contrast. And, you know, it seems like Taylor is slipping back into her old ways. You know, she's saying, nice to meet you. Where have you been? The guy is almost seen as some kind of Prince Charming. Oh, my God, look at that face. You look like my next big mistake. But she even knows that she could show him some stuff, you know, magic, madness, heaven, and sin. She's got some stuff to ask as well. Again, she's looking at love as a game and asking, do you want to play? She can read this dude like a magazine, the new money and the tie. She can see it all coming. And then she's even saying here, but ain't it funny, you know, rumors fly, you know, there's going to be people talking about us. If you're even seen next to me, people are going to assume that we're sleeping together. And I know you've heard about me. So she's switching her mindset down over here. And, you know, even though all these things would normally, you know, make her fall head over heels for somebody, a really handsome guy that she's getting along with, you know, she's saying, let's be friends. All right, let's just not do this thing. All right, I'm in my girl time. I'm with the girl squad. I'm in New York. I'm not interested in dating. So I think like that was a good line. I would imagine a lot of people would probably mistake this as her like tripping over herself to be with some kind of dudes, but I don't think it is. I think it's a little more tongue in cheek. I love this line.
I can make the bad guys good for a weekend.
But it's almost like in her experience, like she can see how this whole thing plays out. She knows how it ends. You know, she's already read this story and she's curious to see where it goes because sometimes chapters are skipped and sometimes there's bonus chapters and whatnot, but she knows how this story plays out. It ends in one of two ways, and she outlines it right here. It'll leave you breathless or with a nasty scar. I think this is also kind of commentary on people speculating, you know, who her next boyfriend is or whatever. You know, she admits it here. I've got a long list of ex-lovers. I don't think it is a long list. You know, everything I've read and seen so far, it seems pretty reasonable to me. And possibly they might say she's insane because she did things like write All Too Well, and maybe Jake Gyllenhaal was not a fan. I also know there's other rumors about her with other guys where she's talked about them too, but I feel like she's called out bad behavior. You know, she's called out, you know, instances where she was wronged or some, you know, toxic shit happened. But I don't think that she really like digs too much into like that person and like really name drops them. I mean, there's instances and there's references and things like that for smart fans to kind of dissect, but she doesn't come like right out and be like, fuck you, Jake Gyllenhaal. You know, you ruined my 21st birthday, you motherfucker. Like, she's, you know, a little bit more creative and clever and poetic than that. But here's the thing too, like Taylor Swift is also not like this princess in a castle and she needs Prince Charming to come rescue her. She's got a lot of things to offer. Cherry lips, crystal skies, I could show you incredible things, stolen kisses and pretty lies. You're the king, baby, and I'm your queen. Like, she knows how to seduce them as well. She knows how to play this game. This is the thing that kind of scares me, and this is probably something that probably caused her a little criticism with this song too, if critics were like breaking this apart, is find out what you want and be that girl for a month. You know, I think this is something, it's easy to criticize, but in new relationships, I mean, people kind of do that. You know, you kind of tiptoe around somebody. Everything is all, you don't want to offend them. You don't want to do anything that's going to upset them. You want to do things that they like so that they're interested in you. I think we all do this subconsciously, whether we admit it or not. But it can be a dangerous thing if it goes on for more than a month, if it goes on for years and basically somebody has just, you know, molded you into that person that they want you to be and you lose yourself in the process. There's also a whole lot of contrast in this song. Yes, she can be that girl for a month and she can show you a good time. You can hop in that plane, get your passports, go anywhere. You know, she can be that perfect girl for a month. But like the thing is she knows at this point in her life and what she's dealt with, like you don't get out of these relationships unscathed. And that's where the contrast of talking about thorns in here and the pretty little lies, getting drunk on jealousy. But if I had to pick my favorite line from this song, it would be this one right here.
'Cause darling, I'm a nightmare dressed like a daydream.
I love it, dude. It's a warning. Like she's almost like letting this guy down gently, saying like, look, we could have a good time, but like it's going to end bad. There's going to be paparazzi. Like there's bad things that surround me from rumors and all of this stuff. And I'm just not at that place in my life. Let's see what my Swiftie friend has to say. Blank Space is the album's second single and was released on November 10th, 2014. It comments on how the public portrayed Taylor at the time. She was called a serial dater and so on. She decided to write the song from this girl's perspective. Oh, maybe I missed that. As she said for her performance for the Grammy Museum, I'll put a couple of links this time in the document. I'll probably check that out when I get to the live stuff, Hannah. The music video paints the picture too. Again, that'll probably be a different stream as well. I'm just doing the album and just like the sonic experience of that before I dive into the visual aspects. So yeah, I think we agree. Very tongue-in-cheek. There's also commentary on how the public or the media perceives her. Oh, that's so 80s.
Midnight, you come and pick me up, no headlights.
That's just dangerous.
Long drive could end in burning flames or paradise.
Again, that contrast.
Fade into view. Oh, it's been a while since I have even heard from you.
Love the inflections.
I should just tell you to leave, 'cause I know exactly where it leads, but I watch us go round.
Great progression.
You got that James Dean daydream look in your eye, and I got that red lip classic thing that you like. And when we go crashing down, we come back every time, 'cause we never go out of style. We never go out of style. You got that long hair, slicked back, white t-shirt, and I got that good girl face, and
Okay. Yeah, I've heard this one too. Again, must have been on the radio. This must have been a huge album or something. I'm surprised I know so many songs of this album. We're like 3 songs into it. But holy shit, can I just talk about the layering for 1 second? It's got a pulsating, bass line. I love the piano and the roots, but like the synths just keep adding to it. It keeps getting bigger and bigger. So soaring synths she was talking about in that article there. Yeah, I think I vaguely remember this.
And when we go crashing down, we come back every time 'cause we never go
So many layers.
style. We never go out of style. So it goes. He can't keep his wild eyes on the road.
Like, this dude's got to be careful. He's driving without headlights. He's not looking at the road. I don't know who this dude is, but he needs to, take a driver's safety course.
Takes me home.
I hope she's wearing a seatbelt.
Lights are off. He's taking off his coat.
While driving? I hope not. They're probably parked.
I say I heard, that you've been out and about with some other girl.
Uh-oh.
Some other girl. He says what you heard is true, but I can't stop thinking about you and I said I've been there too a few times. 'Cause you got that James Dean daydream look in your eyes.
We're going to have to talk about that after.
Red lip classic thing that you like. And when we go crashing down, we come back every time. 'Cause we never go out of style. We never go out of style. You got that long hair slicked back, white t-shirt, and I got that good girl fade and a tight little skirt.
Good girl.
Crashing down, we
She just wants to be the good girl.
times we never go out, we never go, we never go out of style. Take me out, just take me out,
Damn, another earworm.
just take me out. 'Cause you got that James Dean daydream look in your eye, and I got that red lip classic thing that you like. And when we go crashing down, we come back every time. 'Cause we never go out of style. We never go out of style.
Okay, so before we actually figure out what this song is about, I want to give my theories on it, and I have quite a few. My first theory is that Taylor Swift is in some severe danger here. She is driving with some dude that does not have his headlights on. He will not keep his eyes on the road. He's driving and trying to take his jacket off, so he doesn't even have his hands on the road. I think this is a cry for help, and I think she needs to get out of this car. I'm glad that Taylor Swift is taking driving safety seriously. I think we all look at our cell phones a little too much when we're driving, and we need to just keep our eyes on the road. I'm talking 10 and 2, your seatbelt on, and just focus on where you're going. Keep your lights on. Don't high beam anybody, but if it's dark out, put your headlights on. If that's actually what this song is about, I swear to God, I will get Swift tattooed across the back of my shoulders, but I don't think that's what it is. This dude's got that classic style, and so does she. She's got that tight skirt. She's got that, good girl, thing. I remember watching early documentaries and interviews and stuff. She talks about, I just wanted to be the good girl. I wanted to be this thing. I wonder if she's referencing that as a pivotal changing point in the, her career and her direction. Yeah, it feels like it's a back and forth. And there's one part of this song that I really want to go over. It's really at the halfway point where I found the song very interesting and kind of piqued my curiosity. The lights are off and he's taking off his coat. So I'm assuming they're parked and he's trying to mac on her in some kind of way. And she's saying, well, hold on a second. Before we do this thing, I'm saying, I heard that you've been out with some other girl. And he says, what you heard is true, but I can't stop thinking about you. So this is something at first I was like, well, hey, at least the dude is honest about it. So maybe this isn't an exclusive relationship. Maybe it's a new relationship and they haven't set any standards or whatever. So I applaud the honesty with all of that. And it's this line over here where she says, I said, I've been there too a few times. So she's even doing it as well. So it sounds like they're kind of you know, they're kind of testing the waters a little bit. You know, she knows that he's out with other girls, maybe hanging out, and she's saying, well, hey, you know, I'm kind of doing the same thing, which is a normal, healthy interaction to have with somebody that you're not exclusive with. But she does. She admits that the whole thing would look very good on paper. And, you know, he has exactly what she's looking for at this point in her life. And she has exactly what he's looking for. She's got the whole look, the red lipstick, the tight, you know, skirt, the good girl, the attitude, you know, the point she's at with her career. It sounds like this would be a very classic relationship. Anyway, let's see what the document has to say about this song. All right, style. The song tells a story of two people in what seems to be a tumultuous on and off relationship. Yeah, I kind of got that. Rumors are that it's inspired by her relationship with Harry Styles. Oh, really?
Just stop your crying.
Dude, I don't care who you are. That is a fantastic song. By far my favorite song from Harry Styles. I've heard a few of them. Every once in a while, they pop up on my request show. I don't like all of them, but I do respect what this guy is doing musically. And this is my favorite one. Sign of the Times is a masterpiece. They were hunted by the paparazzi at the time, and in this song, she describes Harry Styles pretty obviously. Oh, really? I literally did. You could have offered me $1 million, and I never would have guessed Harry Styles. They still have a fairly good relationship as far as we know. They talk at events, and they both never said something bad about each other. Okay, well, I mean, that's good. So it seems like, you know, it was just an on-off thing. No, I mean, that makes sense. Taylor Swift, arguably the biggest female pop star in the world, and Harry Styles seems to be one of the biggest male pop stars in the world. So yeah, I mean, they would have made awesome babies, and I'm sure that relationship would have been heavily monitored from the media and paparazzi and fans alike. That could have been something. Okay, this is so 80s. This sounds like the intro to the beginning of a stream when I was showing you guys music that was popular from 1989. Great grab of inspiration here.
Looking at it now, it all seems so simple. We were lying on your couch. I remember you took a Polaroid of us, then discovered the rest of the world was black and white.
Is that a harp?
We were in screaming color, and I remember thinking, are we out of the woods yet? Are we out of the woods yet? Are we out of the woods yet? Are we out of the woods? Are we in the clear yet? Are we in the clear yet? Are we in the clear yet? In the clear yet? Girl, are we out of the woods yet? Are we out of the woods yet? Are we out of the woods yet? Are we out of the woods? Are we in the clear yet? Are we in the clear yet? Are we in the clear yet? In the clear yet? Girl. Looking at it now, last December, we were built to fall apart, then fall back together. Ooh, your necklace hanging from my neck, the night we couldn't quite forget when we decided.
The harpsichord.
To move the furniture so we could dance, baby, like we stood a chance. Two paper airplanes flying, and I remember thinking, are we out of the woods yet? Are we out of the woods yet? Are we out of the woods yet? Are we out of the woods? Are we in the clear yet? Are we in the clear yet? Are we in the clear yet? In the clear yet, girl? Are we out of the woods yet? Are we out of the woods yet? Are we out of the woods yet? Are we out of the woods? Are we in the clear yet? Are we in the clear yet? Are we in the clear yet? In the clear yet, girl? Remember when you hit the brakes too soon? 20 stitches in a hospital room. When you started crying, baby, I did too. When the sun came up, I was looking at you. Remember when I couldn't take the heat? I walked out, said I'm setting you free. But the monsters turned out to be just trees. When the sun came
What
up,
the fuck? I I swear to God, if Harry Styles crashed into a tree, we're taking his license away. All right. I'm calling for a citizen's arrest if that's the case. It's a male voice. Kind of makes me feel uneasy. God, the layering is so good on this album, though. Oh, the vocal layering. Oh, guys, I gotta admit, so far there's not a song that I even slightly dislike on this album. The bass is always pulsating. The layers are alive. The songs morph and change and shift. Yes, there's some parts that feel like they're said over and over again, but I feel like it really highlights the song. It actually builds somewhere. There's some actual backbone to this, and I just mean the general structure of this. You can add a million layers to something and, you know, add like accent harmonies and random choruses here and there, and it's going to sound, you know, bright and vibrant for like that one or two chords. But something like this actually has some weight to it. It actually builds and it has some feeling to it. As for the song itself, there is this returning theme over here. Are we out of the woods? Are we out of the woods yet? I don't know if this is like a metaphorically, like, are we out of the relationship woods? Have we reached the worst part? Is it over? Are we moving on to something else yet? Is it good? But then down here, she talks about there actually being some kind of accident and them crying. And, you know, she cried when she saw him cry. So I feel like there's actual some sort of like physical thing that happened here. God, I could talk about the layering on this album so far all day. It's a slight touch of those organics, you know. There's the harpsichord mixed together with the acoustic guitar that has so much shimmer and shine to it. The chorus has been turned to 12. It almost sounds kind of synthetic, but there's feeling and weight to the strings. I knew going into this that there was going to be like a pop nature-esque to it. And well, it has an upswing to it, and it does have some pop nature to it. It still has that classic Taylor Swift sound. And I think it really just comes down to that acoustic guitar and how she uses it. This whole like progression here. Yeah, so I mean, I think that there was actually an accident that was happening. Maybe they were just, I don't know, man. You couldn't take the heat, and she set him free. Is the car on fire? I don't know. You know what? I enough speculating. I just have to know. Let's go over here and figure out what this song is about. All right, Out of the Woods. In this song, Taylor talks about a relationship in which she felt a lot of anxiety. Well, it did make me feel a little uneasy with the repetitive nature of it all. At the Grammy Museum performance, she said that she had to overcome so many obstacles in a relationship that she constantly thought about what could be the next and how long that would last. Okay, kind of, you know, speculating about relationships. This is also why the chorus feels kind of repetitive. Okay, well, the chorus is kind of repetitive, but it's like, you know, every third line she says good. Like, it's almost like a mantra she's saying to herself. Like, fuck, are we out of the woods? Are we out of the woods? All right, good. Okay, it's fine. We're good. Like, it seems like she's almost like, kind of like, it feels almost like a coping mechanism. The bridge shows us this is another song about her relationship with Harry Styles. Because there's evidence that she had a snowmobile accident and had to go to the hospital. God damn it. We need to make a citizen's arrest. So we take his license away. This man is reckless.
People like you always want back the love they gave away, and people like me wanna believe you when you say you've changed. The more I think about it now, the less I know. All I know is that you drove us off the road.
Fucking Harry Styles.
All you had to do was
Oh.
Say you want it back, now that it's just too late. Well, could have been easy. All you had to do was, 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 all you had to do was stay. Here you are.
Anybody else thinking of this song?
Stay, stay, stay. I've been loving you for quite some time. All you had to do was,
Maybe it's an extension of Stay, Stay, Stay.
all you had to do was, all you had to do was stay. Here you are now, calling me up, but I don't know what to say. I've been picking up the pieces of the mess you made. People like you always want back the love they pushed aside, but people like me are gone forever when you say goodbye. Hey, all you had to do was stay, had me in the palm of your hand. Then why'd you have to go and lock me out when I let you in? Hey, now you say you want it back, now that it's just too late. Well, could have been easy. All you had to do was, all you had to do was, all you had to do was, all you had to do was. Let me remind
I can't wait to see this song live and see 70,000 Swifties try and do the falsetto to Stay. I can just see them all going, Stay. I can't wait to see it. I want to see it.
you this was what you wanted. You ended it. You were all I wanted. But not like this. Not like this. Not like this. All you had to do was, hey, all you had to do was stay, had me in the palm of your hand. Then why'd you have to go and lock me out when I let you in? Hey, now you say you want it back, now that it's just too late. Well, could have been easy. All you had to do was, hey, all you had to do was stay, had me in the palm of your hand. Then why'd you have to go and lock me out when I let you in? Hey, now you say you want it back, now that it's just too late. All you had to do was easy. All you had to do was, all you had to do was, all you had to do was, all you had to do was.
Yeah, it's catchy. I don't know. It's so far, I think this is one of my least favorites, but it definitely fits within the confines of the album. The whole thing thematically from a sonic perspective definitely is more cohesive than Red. If that's what she's going for. But it's all right. I think it's kind of an extension of the song that we got with Stay, Stay, Stay. You know, the simple fix would be, you know, not to leave. But I mean, this is what the guy wanted, and he left her. And you know, the thing we can take away from all this is like, you know, once Taylor's been dumped or duped or whatever, like she's not going to get in these cycles. She recognizes them. And I think that's what she's trying to get at here is she's basically saying, look, I've read this story before. I wrote this story before. I see where it goes. Kind of the lines of like how she talks about love and the evolution of it and how she can see it all unfold in blank space. And she's looking back at it in hindsight being like, look, dude, all you had to do was just stay and not just give up on it because now you can't just come back when it's convenient for you because once you say goodbye, I'm done. All right, that's my theory, but let's see what the Swifties are saying. All you had to do was stay. Let's see here. In Hannah's opinion, this is a song. What the hell is that? This is a notification that just popped up. Randomly, I swear to God, my computer's listening to me. I got 3 new tattoos, total of 13 now. These are all Taylor Swift tattoos. Let me know if you guys have any Taylor Swift tattoos. I will not be getting Swift across my shoulders because I was not right about, you know, car safety. In my opinion, this song doesn't hold much to interpret or analyze. She tells someone she really loved them and she would have stayed, but they walked up on her and now it's too late. Exactly. And she doesn't want them back, even though they tell her they've changed and so on. Yeah, she's been in this cycle. She sees this relationship. She knows how it all plays out, and she's just not about that. Let me remind you, this is what you wanted are the first lines of the bridge, and I think they summarize the topic, or the summarize the topic of the song. Yeah, very astute point there, Hannah. I think you're absolutely right. I think we're definitely reaching the same conclusion on this one. Also, I'm noticing this is track number 5. Isn't track number 5 usually the ones that's like All Too Well and songs that kind of like emotionally dismantle you? This one is definitely a little bit more, I don't want to say lighthearted, but it definitely doesn't have like that emotional drop that we've gotten from other track 5s. Shake it up. I must know this one. I know this. Yeah.
Say I'm too late.
I remember this one.
In my brain.
First off, okay, all right, yeah, I know this one. I've heard this one. This song was everywhere for a while. Damn, there's some singles on this album. Okay. First off, I respect the hell out of the horn section. Let's just go.
That's what people say. Mm-mm. That's what people say.
Let's pay attention to the lyrics
Go
though.
on too many dates, but I can't make 'em stay. At least that's what people say. Mm-mm.
Almost
That's
commentary
what
from
people
last song.
say. Mm-mm. But I keep cruising. Can't stop, won't stop moving. It's like I got this music in my mind saying it's gonna be alright. 'Cause the player's gonna play, 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 play. And the haters gonna hate, 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 baby. I'm just gonna shake, 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 shake. Shake it off, shake it off.
Yeah, dude, the horn section works really well with the synth textures. It's awesome. It cuts through. That's very well done.
Heartbreaker's gonna break, 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 break. And the fake is gonna fake, 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 baby. I'm just gonna shake, 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 shake. I shake it off, I shake it off. And now
Yeah, the pads themselves too, they have like this the shimmer at the end of it. It almost works as kind of like this accent melody.
I miss a beat. I'm lightning on my feet. And that's what they don't see. Mm-mm. That's what they don't see. Mm-mm. I'm dancing on my own. Dancing on my own. I'll make the moves up as I go. Moves up as I go. And that's what they don't know. Mm-mm. That's what they don't know. Mm-mm. But I keep cruising.
Great use of frequency on this as well. I've never noticed that the drums are actually playing off of the rim too. Just adds a different texture. Very, very cool. The touch of organic we need.
Can't stop, won't stop grooving. It's like I got this music in my mind saying
It's sharp. The song needs some sharps.
alright. 'Cause the player's gonna play, 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 play. And the haters gonna hate, 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 baby. I'm just gonna shake, 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 shake. Shake it off, shake it off. Heartbreaker's gonna break, 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 break. And the fake is gonna fake, 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 baby. I'm just gonna shake, 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 shake. I shake it off, I shake it off. 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 I shake it off.
It's minimal, but it's effective in the accent.
Hey, hey, hey! Just think while you've been getting down and out about the liars and the dirty, dirty cheats of the world, you could have been getting down to this sick beat.
My ex-man brought his new girlfriend. She's like, oh my god, but I'm just gonna shake into the fella over there with the hella good hair. Won't you come on over, baby? We can shake, shake, shake. Yeah. 'Cause the player's gonna play, 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 play.
All right.
Haters gonna hate, haters gonna hate, baby. I'm just gonna shake, 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 shake. I shake it off.
The build pays off though.
Heartbreaker's gonna break, 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 break. And the fake is gonna fake, 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 fake. I'm just gonna shake, 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 shake. I shake it off, I shake it off. 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 I shake it, yeah, I shake it off. I shake it off, I shake it off. I shake it off, I shake it off. And you got to. I shake it off, I shake it off. I shake it off, I shake it off.
Awesome. I don't care what anybody says. I love this song. I knew this was Taylor Swift. I was wondering when we were going to be getting to this song specifically. I guess it's on this album. Sonically, we've kind of departed from some of like those 80 pulsating synthwave sounds, and we've added a touch of organics, but the layering and the structure kind of all still has the feel. So it does still cohesively fit within like the fidelic experience of the album. And I don't just mean that from a tempo point of view. I mean that from like just the layering and the general build and almost the celebratory nature of this all. All right, so this is one I know she gets shit for. And I don't understand why, because it's a very well crafted song, and it does fit lyrically within the theme of what this album is, a celebration of self and shedding your skin and turning into 2.0 and changing your perspective and you know, adventuring onto something new. I think it perfectly encompasses all of that. But yes, people give this one a lot of shit. I just posted a video on YouTube, well, like a month ago. I got to get better. I'm supposed to be a real YouTuber. I should probably post videos on YouTube. Anyway, I was talking about a Family Guy episode, and there's this really interesting interaction between Peter Griffin and Taylor Swift, and he says, hey, in the song Shake It Off, you mentioned that there's this really sick beat that's about to drop, when in fact the beat is not that sick when it does drop. But he's like, what's the deal with that? I thought it was pretty funny. I think it's still a catchy beat. I think it's just when you mention that something is coming up, it's got to be good. And I think people were kind of expecting a lot. But I think the thing is dancey the entire way through. It does have that celebratory nature to it. You know, I've even talked to some Swifties, some people that are fans of Taylor Swift in my Discord. One conversation I remember specifically, this person saying, you know, I get that a lot of people know Taylor Swift for songs like Shake It Off. And, you know, I feel like they kind of discredit her because of that song. They don't dig a little bit deeper and find some of the more poetic and artistic approach to her music and like the deeper meaning and actual weight to her music. They just hear Shake It Off and they shake her off as like this, you know, this little pop thing. Pop music doesn't necessarily have to be this throwaway thing. It doesn't have to be this thing that you discredit. You know, there's a place for pop music. I mean, think about it. Michael Jackson, BTS, like all of the greats have created some, you know, insane pop music, and they're beloved by millions of people. Personally, this was the song that I would definitely correlate with Taylor Swift. When I think of Taylor Swift, I think of this song because I guess at the time it was just everywhere. But I always remembered enjoying it. I never really paid too much attention to the lyrics, but I enjoyed the fact that there's a horn section. I appreciated the layering. I thought the vocals were pretty good. And I thought it was just kind of a fun celebratory song. And it even had like hints of some of the indie music that I like. Now, guys, don't crucify me about the indie music thing. Yeah, I like a lot of indie artists, but I don't hold myself up on a pedestal for liking these things. I don't feel like my musical opinion has any more weight than yours. We just like different styles of music sometimes. That's all. Anyway, let's see what the document has to say about this one. Oh, here we go. You live under a rock if you haven't heard this song before. Shake It Off was the first single of 1989, published on August 18th, 2014. Yeah, I definitely have heard this one. It's about things that haters say, and the best way to deal with that is to not care and shake it off. Yeah, exactly. You know, she's putting her heart in the drawer, getting rid of those things, changing herself. Taylor said that she wanted to write a song so that this one girl who hadn't danced all night at a wedding would get convinced by her friends to get up there and dance. Oh, that's kind of cool. It is. You know, it's got it. You know, perhaps it is a sick beat. Perhaps we're all wrong. People made fun of this song because they didn't understand that Taylor was obviously not rapping seriously and dancing awkwardly on purpose in the video. Haven't seen the video yet. But yeah, a great song. I've always enjoyed this one.
It's 2 a.m. in your car. Windows
Hopefully it's not Harry Styles' car. She's gonna get the fuck out of there. Man, I'm glad that we started listening to some music from 1989. She's really invoking, you know, the fidelic nature of music from that time. This drum beat is fantastic. The build. This has got like that soft rock meets electronica feel all over it. She's having some fun with this album.
past my street, the memories start. You say it's in the past. You drive straight ahead. You're thinking that I hate you now, 'cause you still don't know what I never said. I wish you would come back.
Ooh.
Wish I never hung up the phone like I did. I wish you knew that I'll never forget you as long as I live. Wish you were right here, right now. It's
The
all
root
good.
notes are fantastic.
It's 2 a.m. in my
Kind of heavy.
headlights past the window pane. I think of you.
At least she's home safe.
We're crooked love in a straight line down. Makes you wanna run and hide, then it makes you turn right back around. I wish you would come
beat drops too.
Wish you knew that I'll never forget you as long as I live. And I wish you were right here, right now. It's all good. I wish you would. I wish we could go back and remember what we were fighting for. And I wish you knew that I miss you too much to be mad anymore. And I wish you were right here, right now. It's all good. I wish you would.
I love that snare too. It's almost washed out.
Here we are. See your face, hear my voice in the dark. We're cookie love in a straight line down. Makes you wanna run and hide, but it made us turn right back around. I wish you would come back. Wish I never hung up the
It's
phone like
surprising
I
me.
did. I wish you knew that I'd never forget you as long as I live, and I wish you were right here, right now. It's all good. I wish you would. I wish you would come back. Wish I never hung up the phone like I did. I wish you knew that I'll never forget you as long as I live. And I wish you were right here, right now. It's all good. I wish you would. I wish we could go back and remember what we were fighting for. And I wish you knew that I miss you too much to be mad anymore. And I wish you were right here, right now. It's all good. I wish you would. You always knew how to push my buttons. You give me everything and nothing. This mad love makes you come running. Stand back where you stood. I wish you would. I wish you would. I wish you would. I wish you would. I wish
Oh,
I wish you would.
that is well done. Now, I would imagine this is probably not a fan favorite, but personally for me, this sonically is easily one of my favorites on the album. The beat mapping is insane. The arpeggiated pulsing bass is outstanding. The vocals are awesome. The layering is fantastic. The atmosphere is all there. And I thought that I had the song pigeonholed as well. I was recognizing that Taylor Swift formula that I've gotten from a lot of these albums. And that's where she builds things up to its maximum point. And right when you think things are going to explode, she just cuts everything out. All the audio, all the atmosphere, all the beat mapping. And you're just left with that voice in your ear. And she started to do that. I'm like, okay, we're about to swing back around and get into some kind of major drop. And I think it's one of the things that humanizes her music and makes it feel more raw and, have more emotion to it, because when she does it and the lines that she delivers in those points kind of cuts you to your core. Now, this song was a little bit different. It brought you back up, but then it went to this plateau and everything thinned out, but the atmosphere was still slightly right there. I was expecting things to kind of switch around, but then it built up just a little bit more. And I'm like, oh, okay, we're just building again. And then all of a sudden it just drops straight out and it just built up even higher than from where it was before. I don't even know. I'm probably explaining this all wrong, but that's what I'm saying. It's basically, it had the formula of what Taylor Swift does, but it evolved here. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And this is one of those ones I was almost paying more attention sonically to what was going on than lyrically, just because I was just immersed in everything. But if I had to guess what the song was about here, it sounds like, there's some sort of regret here. She wishes that she never hung up the phone, so she made some kind of mistake here. I'm glad that she does this in a lot of her music, and this is something I think people kind of gloss over when they listen to her music about, dudes that have, wronged her in some kind of way, or the toxic relationships that she's found herself in. They tend to gravitate on her criticisms of the relationship and how she's always this victim mentality type of thing. And I could see how people would think that if they only listen to certain perspectives of her music and not albums as a whole. She often does this. She, will flip the script on herself. She'll say that she's done something stupid, that she's made a mistake herself. She is in fact also human and, makes mistakes. So yeah, if I had to guess, I'd say this is a little bit about regret. She'd wish that he'd come back. I'm sorry, I wasn't paying too much attention to lyrics. I was just lost in the fidelity of this all. But I guess we'll just check out what the document says and they'll let us know what this is about. Another song that speaks for itself, I Wish You Would, is speaking to someone Taylor really missed after their breakup. She regrets hanging up the phone and wishes they would come back to her. But she also waits for them to make the first move, even though she could have said something herself. Yeah, so that's the whole thing. She flips the script on herself. None of us are perfect. And sometimes, we let emotions take the steering wheel, and, it doesn't always end the right way. And, there's at least subconsciously some part of her that wishes that he would fight a little bit more for this relationship, even though she was the one that hung up. This is a criticism that I've received before with other women too, is like if there's a fight or whatever, they hung up or they said, I don't want to see you again or whatever, or I'm done or whatever. I kind of take that at face value. And I think other guys do this too. And we're like, okay, well, I guess they're done with us now. All right, well, I guess that's over. And then like a day or two later, we get a phone call and be like, well, why didn't you fight for it? I'm like, what the fuck? Like, you could let us, I mean, I don't know. I guess I could see the argument from both perspectives. But I just, that's something I've never understood. Like, if you say that you don't want to see us, if you say you're done and you're angry with us, like, my instinct is, okay, we better give them some space. And then I'll sit on that for a couple days. And then I'm like, I guess they're done. So I'll leave them alone. I don't want to upset them anymore, or whatever the case may be. But this was all when I was younger too, probably around, Taylor Swift's age right here. And yeah, I don't know. I think it's a confusing time. But if you're this age, just fucking tell the dude. Just be like, I'm done with you for now. Well, can we talk later? You'll save so much heartbreak and trouble. You're just honest and open.
'Cause baby, now we got bad love.
Oh, I know this one too.
You know it used to be mad love.
Have I just been a Swiftie this whole time?
'Cause baby, now we got bad blood. Hey, now we got problems, and I don't think we can solve them. You made a really deep cut, and baby, now we got bad blood. Hey. Did you have to do this? I was thinking that you could be trusted. Did you have to ruin what was shiny? Now it's all rusted. Did you have to hit me where I'm weak, baby? I couldn't breathe and rub it in so deep. Salt in the wound like you're laughing right at me.
I hope she's talking metaphorically.
It's so sad to think about the good times, you and I. 'Cause baby,
Can we just talk about that bridge for a second? The vocal, I mean, I'm talking a lot about like the general sonic tone and the direction of this album and stuff. I'm really just not talking on the actual vocal ability. But listen to this. Come on.
oh, it's so sad to think about the good times, you and I.
I love it. It's fantastic. It's the inflections is what it is.
Baby, now we got bad blood. You know it used to be bad love. So take a look what you've done. 'Cause baby, now we got bad blood. Hey, now we got problems, and I don't think we can solve them.
There's that shimmery guitar again.
And baby, now we got bad blood. Did you think we'd be fine? Still got scars on my back from your knife, so don't think it's in the past. These kind of wounds, they last and they last. Now, did you think it all through? All these things will catch up to you, and time can heal, but this won't. So if you're coming my way, just don't. Oh, it's so sad to think about the good times, you
The accent piece is cool too.
'Cause baby, now we got bad blood. You know it used to be bad love. So take a look what you've done. 'Cause baby, now we got bad blood. Hey, now we got problems, and I don't think we can solve them. You made a really deep cut, and baby, now we got bad blood. Hey. Band-aids don't fix bullet holes. You say sorry just for show. If you live like that, you live with ghosts.
Gorgeous.
Band-aids don't fix bullet holes. You say sorry just for show. If you live like that, you live with ghosts. If you love like that, blood runs. 'Cause baby, now we got bad blood. You know it used to be bad love. So take a look what you've done. 'Cause baby, now we got
Oh, the flutter's cool too.
now we got problems, and I don't think we can solve them.
It's a frequency shift in the arpeggiated melody. Want some funk on it. I like how at the end, like there's like almost like a growl. There's some like actual like emotion coming through. The whole thing has almost, you know what it reminds me of? Is it reminds me of an extension of Shake It Off. Like there's something about Shake It Off. Maybe it's just the horn section or whatever, but it feels very like high school marching band. And this is like a song that has almost that kind of beat to it. Almost nothing else is indicative of that at all, but it just, I feel like it could kind of fit in that vein here. This is one of those songs. Yeah, obviously I've heard this one before. I think it's pretty good. Again, it's got good structure and good layering, and it's easy to sing along to, and it fits in the confines of what makes, a catchy pop song. I just don't like that half step kind of that beat that you get here. And it's pretty, apparent the entire way through of the song. But I think it's because you're supposed to mostly focus on the lyrics of this one. So obviously it's pretty straightforward. There's some bad blood between somebody. I don't think it's Harry Styles, even though apparently that's kind of what some of this album is talking about. I don't think that they had some kind of falling out. I think there was more of like a fizzle out, and there's no like true animosity between them. So I'm not sure exactly who this is about. I'm sure the document in a minute will tell me. Yeah, this right here, this is just beautiful when everything kind of thins out, but there's still like that slight shimmer to all of this. Like that, like it's basically the tail end of the synthesizer that kind of shimmers off.
Band-Aids don't fix bullet holes. You say
You can kind of hear how it kind of morphs a little bit. It's a layering between two different synths playing off of the root notes, but there's a certain shimmer to it that just like feels so thin, which is like, it's very creative to do, because she'll do this in music sometimes where everything will drop out. But when things drop out, very rarely is there any bass added. And in this, this might be the first time I've heard her actually do it this way with actually bass. Maybe she's doing it now because it's a synthetic bass, and she's able to have the arpeggiated trails or the shimmery parts at the end of the phrasing that makes it thin. I'm assuming that's the thought process behind this. But yeah, this is a gorgeous part.
sorry just for show. If you live like that, you live with ghosts. Band-Aids don't fix bullet holes. You say sorry just for show. If you live like that,
And it modulates up too. It's all about that build.
if you love like that, blood
And I love how it stops here, but everything just gets thin. So they just modulate it all down. They take all the bass out of it, and they just kind of have that whooshing effect. It's been done a couple times on this album, but I think it fits in line with like the sonic direction of what this whole thing is. And here's the payoff. God, I could talk about the layering. I've said this before. I could talk about just the sonic fidelity of this album all day, but the layering is fantastic. This is one of those moments where it all kind of pays off. The structure, everything's been building up. We've been stripping down, and everything has come back, and we're introduced to like both an accent, arpeggiated, more clear arpeggiated melody, and some accent beat mapping as well. And it just feels like the whole thing is floating. It has life. It like the only way to describe it is it feels like the song is alive. The guitar actually has some weight in it too. Yeah. So it's, oh God, how did I stop there? I got to go back here. We're going to hear that part again. It's either a 12-string guitar in this, or it's just layered over itself. And again, that shimmery chorus turned to 12 effect is on there. I love the use of frequency on this too, which sounds like it's like an accent beat mapping. But again, it's just another arpeggiated form of the melody. But it just like adds like those crisp cleans in. It's just like that, what sounds like raindrops in the background, what makes the whole thing sound kind of magical. No, she did mention magic in this whole thing. Maybe, I guess it's done by design. But let's listen to that growl one more time. It really just emphasizes like actual frustration and rage. Oh, felt that in my chest, man. Yeah, dude. It feels like it's coming from almost a guttural place. All right, let's figure out what the hell this song is about. Let's go to the document. I feel like I'm kind of cheating using this document. All right, there's a lot to go over here. There is a story behind this song, but first of all, Bad Blood is about becoming enemies with someone who used to be your friend. Okay, so this is less about a lover and more about a friend. As you may remember from what Swifties told you about certain songs from Look What You Made Me Do, Taylor had a public argument with Katy Perry. I don't really remember that. To my knowledge, it started with Katy hiring people out from under Taylor. Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I remember this. I just didn't remember it was Katy Perry, exclusively. Whether she did that on purpose to sabotage Taylor's tour isn't something I want to judge. Yeah, I mean, unless we know for sure, it's probably just not a good idea to judge that. I mean, the dancers could have left for different reasons, financial reasons, a shorter tour. There's a million different reasons. Crew leaves and go with other people. It's just what happens. Taylor herself said the following in a Rolling Stone interview. For years, I was never sure if we were friends or not. She would come up to me at award shows and say something and walk away, and I would think we are friends, or did she just give me the hardest insult of my life? Is Katy Perry a little passive aggressive? Then last year, the other star crossed a line. She did something so horrible, I was like, oh, we're just straight up enemies. And it wasn't even about a guy. I don't know what that's about. It had to do with business. She basically tried to sabotage an entire arena tour. She tried to hire a bunch of people out from underneath me, and I'm surprisingly non-confrontational. You would not believe how much I hate conflict. So now I have to avoid her. It's awkward and I don't like it. All right, so Taylor seems to think that this person absolutely did this. And if it was just like one or two crew members, maybe I could understand it. But if she, took an entire team or an entire segment of a team to do something specific, it might not be sabotage. It might be, hey, you're doing this successful thing. Let me take what you have as successful and try to apply it to my own thing. And it might not have even been done by Katy Perry. It could have been done by management. It could have been done by, label reps, So I don't know. I guess there's no point in commenting on it, but apparently there is some sort of bad blood. Their relationship improved since Katy Perry was part of Taylor's music video for You Need to Calm Down. It's the album Lover. Oh, so, okay, hold on a second. So after all this went down, Katy Perry's in a Taylor Swift song called You Need to Calm Down with all this passive aggressive shit going on. All right, Lover should be fun. Can't wait to get to that. Okay, I guess I don't really remember this little feud. I guess there's not much I can comment on it. It sounds like Taylor probably was under the assumption that something nefarious was going on. But, who knows? Like I said, it might have just been one of her handlers that did that. It's kind of a shitty thing to do. The only reason I would imagine that even happened was that Katy Perry's team offered more money, which is ridiculous thinking about that now, because we all know what just happened on the Eras tour with the bonuses she gave to everybody. Like, that was insanely generous. So hopefully the crew didn't burn bridges by going with Katy Perry, because they probably just missed out on an insane payday.
He said, let's get out of this town, drive out of the city, away from the crowds. I thought heaven can't help me now, nothing lasts forever. But this is gonna take me down. He's so tall and handsome as hell. He's so bad, but he does it so well. I can see the end as it begins. My one condition is, say you'll remember me, standing in a nice dress, staring at the sunset, babe. Red lips and rosy cheeks. Say you'll see me again, even if it's just in your wildest dreams.
I may have heard this one too.
Wildest dreams.
I like the cinematics.
I said no one has to know what we do. His hands are in my hair, his clothes are in my room, and his voice is a familiar sound. Nothing lasts forever.
Piano is beautiful.
This is getting good now. He's so tall and handsome as hell. He's so bad, but he does it so well. And when we've had our very
runoffs are awesome too.
Say you'll remember me, standing in a nice dress, staring at the sunset, babe. Red lips and rosy cheeks. Say you'll see me again, even if it's just in your wildest dreams. Wildest dreams. You'll see me in hindsight, tangled up with you all night, burning it down. Someday when you leave me, I bet these memories follow you around. You'll see me in hindsight, tangled up with you all night, burning it down. Someday when you leave me, I bet these memories follow you around. Say you remember me, standing in a nice dress, staring at the sunset, babe. Red lips and rosy cheeks. Say you'll see me again, even if it's just pretend. Say you'll remember me, standing in a nice dress, staring at the sunset, babe. Red lips and rosy cheeks. Say you'll see me again, even if it's just pretend. Just pretend. The streams wildest dreams. Even if it's just in your wildest dreams. In your wildest dreams.
Okay, so a little bit different, a little bit more of the same. You know, we're back to actually adding some orchestral elements to this with the strings, the root notes on the piano, the guitar kind of comes back. It seems kind of familiar to me, so maybe that's why I'm guessing the next parts that are happening. Maybe somehow I heard this one too. This maybe is a single or something. Part of this, it almost feels kind of depressing. I don't think that's what the song is supposed to be about at all, but it's just the place that this song took me to. Maybe it's my depression just kicking in. I don't know. But like it almost like reads like an obituary. And just trying to be as honest and transparent with like where music takes me. Her talking about, you know, like being remembered in a certain kind of way. And like, you know, I want you to picture me with my dress and my red lipstick and staring at the sunset and, you know, over in this place. Like it just kind of like, I don't know. I can't help but think of somebody that's like on their deathbed or something. And like, they're like, okay, I don't want you to remember me like this, sick here. Remember me as like this, you know, beautiful, vibrant young thing that had life and love and things to give. There's also different elements about this too that like completely contradict what I just said. Like, I think this is obviously about the fizzling out of a relationship, you know, like, and remembering and looking at the relationship in hindsight, you know, especially while she's talking about like his clothes being on her floor and playing with her hair and shit like that. I think that's obviously what this is about, but I still found it important to talk about like where music kind of takes you when you first hear it and what it kind of reminds you of. Lyrically, it's about a relationship that seems to have an unsurprising ending coming ahead. She wants her lover to remember her in a certain beautiful way. Yeah, I think that's what the song is about. Rumors are the song could have been about Alexander Skarsgård, a Swedish actor Taylor met on the set of The Giver. They were spotted together a couple of times, and the fact that Taylor has black hair in the movie as well as in her music video, and the guy in the music video looks a bit like Alexander. The music video were set in Africa, where Alex is the only guy that was so tall that Taylor dated at the time. All right, okay. I mean, maybe. I mean, who knows? That's just a rumor, I guess. For me, the more interesting thing is that, according to Taylor, the beats at the beginning of this song resemble real heartbeats. Yeah, okay, so it does do that, but there's a beat over the heartbeat itself, which kind of sucks back into itself. It's kind of like the attack on it has been reversed at the end of the phrasing of the beat, which is, you know, gives it that electronic kind of like 80s vibe to it. This makes it feel even more wrong to me that someone else owns the original master of the recording of Wildest Dreams. Okay, well, to ease your concerns, I don't think it's actually from an EKG. I think it's just a beat mimicking the heartbeat, and it sounds like, you know, almost like a, not fluttering heartbeat, but a heartbeat that's kind of like speeding up a little bit, like excitement to it. What a hook.
Reminder how it used to be. Yeah, yeah. Of pictures in frames, of kisses on cheeks. Tell her how you must have lost your mind. Ooh. When you left her all alone and never told her why.
Well, that's fucked up.
And that's how it works. That's how you lost the girl.
Is this a...
And now you say, I want you, but words are for better. I would wait forever and ever and ever. I'll put it back together. I would wait forever and ever.
Giving her time, okay?
That's how it works. That's how you get the girl. Oh, and that's how it works. That's how you get the girl. Yeah, yeah. And you know, that I don't want you to go. Remind me how it used to be. Pictures in frames of kisses on cheeks. And say you want me. Yeah. And then you say, I want you, but words are for better. I would wait forever and ever. Broke your heart, I'll put it back together. I would wait forever and ever. And that's how it works. That's how you get the girl. 'Cause that's how it works. And that's how it works. That's how you get the girl. That's how it works. And that's how it works. That's how you get the girl. And that's how it works. That's how you get the girl. That's how it works. That's how you got the girl.
Pay close attention, male fans. Taylor is extending the olive branch and telling us exactly how it works. Where the hell was this song 20 years ago when I was out there? We have the exact formula how to fix the problem that we created. And it's all outlined right over here, step by step, exactly what you need to do. If you have a male friend or brother or something, show them this song. I'm really curious to see what the document says about this one. The title of this song sounds a little bit like an entry of WikiHow, and to a degree, it would fit there. Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at too. It's an outlined formula as to how to fix your mistake. Taylor describes how to get the girl, and at first she doesn't even seem to talk about herself until she says, reminds me of how it used to be. Yeah, it does seem like the first half of this song, she's talking about somebody else, or basically just extending that olive branch and saying, this is how you fix your problem. And then at some point she starts talking from the first person and almost like how she wished it was handled herself. Taylor once said this song is kind of an instruction manual for a guy who's broken up with his girlfriend and let 6 months go by and the lengths he will need to go to get her back. Okay. It's not going to be as simple as just sending a text message. It's like, sup, miss you. Yeah, you're going to need to put in a little bit more work. She, as a joke, also said somewhere that she has a lot of songs that describe how to do certain things that have to do with girls, like proposing, getting her back, apologizing, and so on. Really, I think we should put together a whole manual here. I think dudes out there everywhere just need this. The song was also played at the Grammy Museum performance. Really curious about this Grammy Museum performance. You keep talking about it. All right, so it's got to be out there. I guarantee somebody's put together some sort of manual out how to like unfuck yourself from shit that you fucked up. If you know of some sort of manual or you have it all broken down, I will definitely check it out, and I'd love to go over it. Okay, we're moving on to a somber tone here. And a somber progression.
Clear blue water, high tide came and brought you in, and I could go on and on and I will. Skies grew darker, currents swept you out again, and you were just gone and gone, gone and gone. In silent screams and wildest dreams, I never dreamed of this. This love is good, this love is bad, this love is a light back from the dead. These hands had to let it go free, and this love came back to me.
Came back to her.
Tossing, turning, struggled through the night with someone new. Maybe I could go on and on. Lantern burning, flickered in my mind for only you, but you were still gone, gone, gone. In losing grip on sinking ships, you showed up just in time. This love is good, this love is bad, this love is a light back from the dead. These hands had to let it go free, and this love came back to me. This love left a permanent mark, this love is glowing in the dark. These hands had to let it go free, and this love came back to me.
It's massive.
Your kiss, my cheek, I watch you leave. Your smile, my ghost.
She talks about ghosts a lot too.
To my knees when you were young, you just run, but you come back to what you need. This love is good, this love is bad, this love is a light back from the dead. These hands had to let it go free, and this love came back to me. This love left a permanent mark. This love is glowing in the dark.
It's all things.
These hands had to let it go free, and this love came back to me.
Okay, a different tone for sure, but I really enjoyed this one. Started off kind of somber, and I wasn't exactly sure where it was coming from, but it does still feel kind of like a celebration. I'm not sure if she's talking about one person specifically, or if she's just talking in general. I gotta believe that she's talking in generalities here, and about her ups and downs with love and relationship as, you know, a positive and a negative thing, and the journey that it is, and, you know, how, you know, even when you think all hope is gone and like you're just never going to love again, sometimes, you know, at a random cafe on a Wednesday, it'll just happen. So this song to me feels more like an encompassing, you know, a celebration of what love is, and that, you know, that insane feeling you can get, and how it can come out of nowhere. Sonically, this one is a little bit different. I think this one, you know, lyrically and, you know, melodically from her vocals almost plays in the line of some of her more folky songs up until this era. It just comes down to her phrasing, how things are, you know, enunciated, and just the general melodic tone of her voice has more of like that kind of like softer, folkier feel to it. All right, let's see what Hannah's gonna say. For me, this song is outstanding to the others of this album sonically. I can't explain why, but it sounds different to me. I think I may have explained a couple key moments here in the song that may help you with that. But there's a couple other things too. Not only the folk nature of it all. There's similarities, sonically to this entire album. One key thing that we get in most of these songs is that pulsating bass. And while this song does have that, the modulation on it is completely different. It's thinned out. It's only sporadically shown. There's more organic elements to this. All right, so she says the lyrics are about love that came back. Taylor doesn't seem to be mad about them leaving her in the first place. She just plays on the saying, let go of what you love. If it comes back, it's yours, even though it sounds like she was really sad when they left her. Yeah, I mean, 100% you're right. She could be talking about a specific relationship, but for whatever reason, I think that she's talking in generalities here. I think she's talking about love as a whole. Just the way that she emphasized each word and what it is. It didn't sound specific to any person. It sounded more specific to her entire experience. Pensive piano in vocoder.
You stand with your hand on my waistline. It's a scene and we're out here in plain sight. I can hear them.
It's dramatic.
Pass by. It's a bad sign. Bad sign. Something happens when everybody finds out. See the vultures circling dark clouds. Love's a fragile little flame. It could burn out.
It's almost slightly out of tune.
Cause they got the cages, they got the boxes and guns. They are the hunters, we are the foxes.
Ooh.
And we run like big. I know places we won't be found and they'll be chasing their tails, trying to track us down. Cause I know places we can hide. I know places. Lights flash and we'll run for the fences. Let them
Love it.
say what they want, we won't hear it. Loose lips
Pensive and
just
playful.
all the damn time. Not this time. Just grab my hand and don't ever drop it. My love, they are the hunters, we are the foxes. And we run, baby.
Oh.
I know places we won't be found and they'll be chasing their tails, trying to track us down. Cause I know places we can hide. I know places. They are the hunters, we are the foxes. And we run.
Organic
Just grab
bass.
my hand and don't ever drop it. My love, baby. I know places
The inflections are awesome.
and they'll be chasing their tails, trying to track us down. Cause
Like they're the foxes.
I know places we can hide. I know places. They'll take their shots, but we're bulletproof. I know places. And you know for me, it's always you. I know places. In the dead of night, your eyes so free. I know places. And I know for you, it's always me. I know places.
Okay, so far, I Know Places is my absolute favorite off of this album. Sonically, structurally, vocally, this is absolutely perfect. I was even thrown off by some of the structure here a little bit. It's pensive, it's dark in the right ways, it's invoking the nature of what this album is with the pulsating synthwave drums and layers of, synthetics, but it also adds the things that I really enjoy, which is the organic atmosphere. Touches of the root note piano, that's what kind of makes things pensive when it goes into the bass notes. The guitar is fantastic. It's moody, it's melodic. This kind of encompasses, my favorite things about the album that I've heard so far, all wrap up into one place. And my only criticism is it's too short. 3 minutes and 15 seconds. No, this should have been one of those 6-7 minute bangers. It could have gone in so many cool directions. I'll take it. It is what it is. But this one is the full package for me. I Know Places. It's awesome. And this is not the first time that I believe she's talked about this subject. I've heard her talk about it a lot in different albums, and it's about her fantasy with escaping and finding that place where nobody can find them, and the idea of her just constantly feeling like she's being hunted, and I'm assuming it's the paparazzi or whatever coming, invading her privacy or whatever, or speculating or doing, whatever. It must be an odd phenomenon. It's not something I can touch on. I've never had paparazzi or anything like that after me, so I don't know what that feels like. I would imagine it'd probably be kind of scary and it probably very aggravating, but she outlines it here. And she's talking about, people finding it easy to put her in that box, put her in that place, and, basically stereotype her and basically, write that article to kind of frame the entire essence of what she is in like a paragraph. And that I know is aggravating. Now she talks about it right here because they got the cages, they got the boxes and the guns. The way that she said "and guns" and the fact that there's just guns in this song is the first time. Like, I don't know, I felt a little uneasy as well.
And guns, they are the
And guns, very Rihanna, and like in her, I don't know, in her phrasing.
and guns, they
I don't know, it just kind of reminds me a little bit of Rihanna. I like that she's showing these like human sides, the growls, the screaming, the cracking of the voice. Everything is so pleasant and perfectly mastered and quantized that like when she kind of cracks a little bit or screams or whatever, like it just sounds like it's coming from a guttural place and it just hits so much harder. I Know Places, here it is. All right, to me, I Know Places sounds even more like Anxiety than Out of the Woods. Yeah, I could see that. It starts with a click. That sounds like a camera shot to me, and it's about being hunted and having to run and hide. Yeah, I didn't even notice that. All right, good ear. Yeah, no, I didn't even pick up on that. At the time, Taylor was already one of the biggest music artists, and I can only imagine how stressful it has to be getting followed and photographed all the time. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's something very few of us have experience with. In this song, Taylor tries to convince a lover that she knows places to hide, that she just wants to find a love and escape. That's what's going to happen. I already know Taylor's story. I know what's going to happen. She's going to find her one, and then she's going to go to the lakes, and that's going to be the last we're going to hear from her. It makes me sad to think about the fact that celebrities of all kinds have to feel like that because there are so many people who just can never get enough dramatic stories and private information. It's a big business, and it's marketed to people in a way that makes them feel like it's okay to have that much information and to absorb that much of their content and perspective on their life. And I think that's a whole different conversation in itself. I think the media and paparazzi, TMZ type, websites and shows over the years have done something to celebrities that I don't think is talked about. And I think they've made the psyche okay to follow somebody that much. I say it all the time in my videos. Generally, I don't care about who Taylor's dating, unless it directly applies to the music that I'm listening to with the subject matter. But generally, I don't care about her private life. I don't want to know about her private moments because we all deserve that. We all deserve that privacy when we want that privacy. When we want to turn that camera off and I want to step away, like I get it. I understand to a degree, not to her degree, but I can get it even from my small degree. But what I'm trying to say is these websites and these media conglomerates have put in people's minds that it is okay to know about every facet about that person's life because they have the pictures to prove it. They have the story to prove it. They have their own spin on it to make you speculate and do whatever. And I'm not saying people wouldn't do it if it wasn't for those kind of sites and TV shows and whatever. I'm just saying it has definitely exacerbated the situations. That's probably made it much more difficult for celebrities. Never dealt with it firsthand, but I can see it. I 100% see it. And I think that's a very real conversation we should start to have with ourselves at some point. It is dreamy.
The drought was the very worst.
metaphors are insane.
Head as I lost the war and the sky turned black like a perfect storm. The rain came pouring down when I was drowning. That's
And it's a teardrop melody.
breathe. And by morning, gone was any trace of you. I think I am finally clean.
This is really good vocally too.
There was nothing left to do. When the butterflies turned to dust that covered my whole room.
It's an image.
So I punched a hole in the roof.
Roof. Like breaking the ceiling.
Carry away all my pictures of you. The water filled my lungs. I screamed so loud, but no one heard of me. The rain came pouring down when I was drowning. That's when I could finally breathe. And by morning, gone was any trace of you. I think I am finally clean. I think I am finally clean.
Queen of what?
Said I think I am finally clean.
This one's hard to decipher.
10 months sober, I must admit. Just because you're clean don't mean you don't miss it. 10 months older, I won't give in. Now that I'm clean, I'm never gonna
Sobriety
risk
here?
it. The drought was the very worst.
Love this line.
When the flowers that we'd grown together died of thirst. The rain came pouring down when I was drowning. That's when I could finally breathe. And by
I was drowning so I could breathe.
gone was any trace of you. I think I am finally clean. The rain came pouring down when I was drowning. That's when I could finally breathe. And by morning, gone was any trace of you. I think I am finally clean. Finally clean. Think I'm finally clean. Think I'm finally clean.
Yeah, this one is difficult to decipher because, you know, she's talked about relationships fizzling out in a relationship that she wanted somebody to come back to her. This seems like she's like almost, I don't want to say celebrating something that's lost, but it's like she's purging herself of somebody. Obviously, this person does still have an effect on them, or she can't forget them. You know, like a wine-stained dress I can't wear anymore. But yeah, the imagery on this is like, it's very dark too. The sky turned black like a perfect storm. When the butterflies turned to dust that covered my whole room. It's here too. The water filled my lungs. I screamed so loud, but no one heard a thing. And then she talks about how she could breathe underwater. Rain came pouring down when I was drowning. That's when I could finally breathe. That's a line right there. Rain came pouring down, and that's when I could finally breathe. Why is there relief coming when the rain is coming down if she's drowning? I don't know. There's a lot to this. I can tell there's metaphors. I can tell there's messages to this. Even the thought of, or the line of like her having, you know, liquid in her lungs and she can finally breathe, but she does call it rain, but that could be a metaphor. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking too much into this. I guess I just don't know how to put my finger on this song. This is one that I'm 100% going to have to use a document for. So you might remember this song from Miss Americana. No, I don't actually. She played it on the Reputation tour after talking about the sexual assault case that she had to deal with the year before. Oh, so okay. First off, I've heard this song a couple times and I'm not remembering it. Maybe it's through a different lens or something. Maybe I don't know how I'd forget about this. Okay, so I do remember this sexual assault case. Yeah. Okay, so it was like some kind of like radio personality or whatever, and they were doing some kind of promo shot. They stand in front of a big thing with like the logo of the radio station behind them, and the dude like clearly reached up and like grabbed her butt. That's what this is about. Well, I mean, it was pretty traumatic, and it was, from what I remember from the Miss Americana documentary, yeah, it was definitely very traumatic, and bringing it to court and people questioning her, and she eventually did win, and it was a great thing to witness and see and everything, but you could definitely tell like it was very traumatic, and she also touched on the fact of like other girls that have to deal with this sort of thing and actually come forward and how strong you need to be for that because. Sometimes it's just hearsay and you're putting yourself out there and it's a lot to do. It's a lot to take in. It's an experience that I'm never going to know. So me commenting on it and how important it is probably just not going to be meaningful at all. But I was moved by everything that happened and I was very proud of her. And I know that she not only got justice for herself, that she also probably inspired other women that have dealt with that sort of assault and maybe convinced them or helped them get the strength to come forward themselves. So I respected the hell out of that. All right, here we go. She talked about the song on different occasions, such as the Grammy Museum listening session. Okay, I'm 100% going to have to check out this Grammy Museum listening sessions. I can't wait to get to the live stuff. Taylor compares the end of a relationship to trying to fight addiction because you have to break numerous habits to finally get out of it. Okay, so I knew some kind of weird metaphor. It wasn't about like sobriety in the sense of sobriety. The song metaphorically speaks about seeing a flood coming, and instead of hiding, she punches a hole in the roof to let the flood clean out the house. Okay, dude, that makes so much sense. Yeah, okay, I'm picturing it now. The flood's coming in. It's washing away everything. She's in the room, but she's punching a hole out of the ceiling so she doesn't drown. Perfectly makes sense. Okay. I was getting too lost. I was going down a weird hole, man. Now I'm kind of like on the edge of my seat. Everything so far has been like fairly uplifting and like, fuck it, I'm going forward and I'm living my best life and I'm in this city and like, I'm just gonna reinvent myself. But like, that should have been track 5.
Flashing lights and we took a wrong turn and we fell down a rabbit hole.
Oh, that's pretty.
You held on tight to me, 'cause nothing's as it seems, and spinning out of control. Didn't they tell us don't rush into things? Didn't you flash your green eyes at me?
Green eyes again.
What becomes of curious minds? Ooh, didn't it all seem new and exciting? I felt your arms.
We finally get a tempo change.
I should have slept with one eye open at night. We found Wonderland. You and I got lost in it, and we pretended it could last forever. We found Wonderland. You and I got lost in it, and life was never worse, but never better.
Ooh,
In Wonderland.
that's massive.
In Wonderland. In Wonderland. In Wonderland. So we went on our way, two in love to think straight, all alone or so it seemed. But there were strangers who watching, and whispers turned to talking, and talking turned to screams. Oh. Didn't they tell us don't rush into things? Didn't you flash your green eyes at me? Didn't you calm my fears with the
It's almost aggressive.
smile? Ooh, didn't it all seem new and exciting? I felt your arms twisting around me. It's all fun and games till somebody loses their mind. Oh, darling, we found Wonderland. You and I got lost in it, and we pretended it could last forever. We found Wonderland. You and I got lost in it, and life was never worse.
This is gonna be so good live.
I reached for you, but you were gone. I knew I had to go back home. You searched the world for something else to make you feel like what we had. And in the end, in Wonderland, we both went mad.
Beautiful run.
Oh, we found Wonderland. You and I got lost in it, and we pretended it could last forever. Could last forever. We found Wonderland. You and I got lost in it, and life was never worse, but never better. Never better. We found Wonderland. You and I got lost in it, and we pretended it could last forever. We found Wonderland. You and I got lost in it, and life was never worse, but never better. In Wonderland.
That is a fun song. Definitely one of the more intense song, and that's just from the beat mapping, the general tempo, and just like that really thick, almost a girthy bass that, you know, reads almost like an electric guitar. That was wild, man. That was a lot of fun. And I like the message of it as well. It's kind of going back into the carefree nature of it all and, you know, reminiscing of a time, or maybe it's the time she's in right now, where she found a place where she's, you know, just in amazement, where she can just have some actual natural joy. Like, it makes me happy to know that she can be in these places and she can, you know, never feel better or never feel worse, just be in this like really cool, happy place. I liked it, man. It definitely hit though. I can't wait to hear this one live. She did it again. One of my favorite songs is the one that wasn't on the original normal version of 1989. Yeah, that was fun. I really enjoyed that one. I love the sound and the strong chorus. Lyrically, it's about a relationship that wasn't supposed to happen, and both people knew that. It sounds like both of them were falling in love way faster than they thought, and they should, and it didn't end well. Maybe I missed the part where it didn't end well. I just kind of got lost in the whole fidelity of it all. To me, it was just like they were in this good place, but maybe it didn't end well. Maybe I missed that. Taylor did a photo shoot with the fashion magazine Wonderland in November 2014. The picture of the shoot show her in a style that she has never done before and never again since. Well, shit, now I kind of want to see these photos. If anybody has these photos, send them to me. You can message me on Patreon or just put a link in the comments. I'll click it. Oh, total flock of seagulls. Where you gonna sleep tonight? It's so dramatic.
One look, dark room, meant just for you. Time moved too fast. You play it back. Buttons on a coat, light-hearted joke. No proof, not much, but you saw enough. Small talk, he drives, coffee at midnight. The light reflects the chain on your neck. He says, look up, and your shoulders brush. No proof, one touch, but you felt enough. You can hear it in the silence, silence. You could feel it on the way home, way home. You can see it with the lights out, lights out. You're in love, true love. You're in love.
Okay.
Morning, his place, burnt toast. Sunday, you keep his shirt, he keeps his word. And for once, you let go of your fears and your ghosts.
Yeah,
One
ghosts.
step, not much, but it said
enough. You kiss on sidewalks, you fight, then you talk. One night he wakes, strange look on his face, pauses, then says, "You're my best friend," and you knew what it was. He is in love. You can hear it in the silence, silence. You can feel it on the way home, way home. You can see it with the lights out, lights out. You're in love, true love. You're in love. You two are dancing in a snow globe round and round, and he keeps a picture of you in his office downtown. And you understand now why they lost their minds and fought the wars, and why I've spent my whole life trying to put it into words. 'Cause you can hear it in the silence. You can feel it on the way home. You could see it with the lights out. You're in love, true love. You're in love. You can hear it in the silence, silence. You can feel it on the way home, way home. You can see it with the lights out, lights out. You're in love, true love. You're in love. You can hear it in the silence, silence. You can feel it on the way home.
Chorus is beautiful too.
You can see it with the lights out, lights out. You're in love, true love. You're in love.
Might have a new favorite song. This one was good. This just brought me to a great place. And I was a little confused in the beginning, but I think it all kind of came together. Okay, so I thought she was talking about somebody specifically that she was in love with. And maybe she was, because of what she did use herself at preference at some points. But I think she's actually talking about what she says is her best friend. And her best friend sounds pretty fucking awesome. Keeping His Promise, True Love. This one actually literally gave me goosebumps. I have a literal chill from this one. It is beautiful. It is a sweet love song. It is coming from a real place. I'm like, I hope this is a real person and not just some kind of character that she made up or whatever, because I don't know, like it feels like a real person. Yeah, this line down over here, "You are my best friend."
You're my best friend, and you knew what it was. He is in love. You can hear it in the silence.
Ugh, this is one of those songs, like I could listen to this one on loop for hours at a time. This might be my absolute favorite off of the album if I had to choose one. And it kind of encompasses, again, the entire sonic experience of what you get from this album, from the synth textures, the pulsating drums, you know, the arpeggiated pulsating bass lines. But I don't know, the delivery in this one is just so much softer and sweeter. It just like has a certain classy delicateness to it all. And this story, I absolutely love it. It reminds me of like her, especially like here, like the silence, like you can feel it in the way home. Like I just imagine her like in the car with this person and her like looking over at him like, oh, I recognize this. I know what this is that you're feeling. You're feeling love, and I see it. And she perfectly outlined it here. Yeah, and down here she like says it. This line over here is it really got me. Like it shivers down my spine with this line right here. Like she's in the car with this dude. Like she recognizes the feeling. She's happy for him to be in love. She sees like this beautiful relationship, and she sees that turning point of realizing, you know, this isn't just attraction. This is love. And she sees this person. That's silence. The weight, like the weight of the room. And she's basically saying it right here. This line right here.
And why I've spent my whole life trying to put it into words.
That perfectly encompasses like my favorite parts of Taylor Swift, when she can actually describe love. She talks about a lot of things, you know, whether it be devastation, love, infatuation, you know, like sexual tension or chemistry or whatever. But my favorite thing that she talks about, my favorite thing when she nails it, is when she talks about love. And I know it means a lot to her as well. And that's why I've spent my whole life trying to put this feeling into words. 10 out of 10. This is fantastic. Sonically brilliant, vocally gorgeous, classy. Absolutely nailed it on this one. Wow, I kind of wasn't expecting this. The album so far has been, for the most part, kind of fun. You know, it's been dancey, it's been bouncy. You know, I've been kind of like, I don't know, it's been very euphoric the entire way through. And I thought that like I reached the end of my euphoria. I thought like we're approaching the end of the album now, and you know, things are probably going to go out with a bang, probably some massive hooks or something. But I wasn't expecting this. This made me legit feel good. All right, we got to figure out what this one's about. All right, You Are in Love is actually a song about Jack Antonoff. Really? I like the short clip at the end of his document where they talk about it. Taylor commented on the relationship of one of their closest friends, and I really like the idea. It's just simple and beautiful love song, and as far as I know, it's also a fan favorite. Well, it's definitely one of my favorites, that's for sure. Oh, that makes it even more sweet. Okay, longtime collaborator and like, oh my God. So it's about this dude here, Jack Antonoff. That is, this makes a song 10 times heavier. It makes, oh my God. This makes it even better. The chorus describes how you can see and feel love in a way that isn't describable. Of course, you cannot really see love because it's just a feeling, but I think we all know what it means to see love. Great description too, Hannah. That was nice. Yeah. This is the song of the album. There are absolute bangers. There are massive singles on this. I got to stop. I'll wait. I'm going to get into my end. But this is the one. You Are in Love is the most Taylor Swift song I've ever heard. Okay, so we've reached the end of it. This is going to be the last song before I get to the vault track. So I'm probably going to be stopping the reaction after this. But be sure to pay attention because I've got a lot of things I want to talk about on this album for after this initial reaction. But let's see how it all ties together, shall we?
We're all bored. We're all so tired of everything we wait for. Trains that just aren't coming. We show off our different scarlet letters. Trust me, mine is better. We're so young, but we're on the road to ruin. We play dumb. We know exactly what we're doing. We cry tears of mascara in the bathroom. Honey, life is just a classroom.
Is that a bongo? What does that mean?
The lights and noise are blinding. We hang back. It's all in the timing. It's poker. You can't see it in my face, but I'm about to play my ace. We need love, but all we want is danger. We team up and switch sides like a record changer. The rumors are terrible and cruel, but honey.
Hold on a second. We need love, but all we want is danger. Is that like the female version of like boys only want love if it's torture? I don't know.
Most of them are true.
It's like an MGMT song or group love song or something.
And every day is like a battle. But every night with us is like a dream. Baby, we're the new romantics. Come along with me. Heartbreak is the national anthem. We sing it proudly. We are too busy dancing to get knocked off our feet. Baby, we're the new romantics. The best people in life are free.
What are free people?
Come on, come along with me. The best people in life are free. Please take my hand and please take me dancing and please leave me stranded. It's so romantic. Oh, baby, I can feel the
It's so different.
out of all the bricks they threw at me. Every day is like a battle. Every night with us is like a dream. 'Cause baby, I can feel the castle. Out of all the bricks they threw at me. And every day is like a battle. Every night with us is like a dream. Baby, we're the new romantics. Come along with me. Heartbreak is a national anthem. We sing it proudly. We are too busy dancing to get knocked off our feet. Baby, we're the new romantics. The best people in life are free.
So that's how it ends, huh? We end with complete different tempo change and almost a different, I don't want to say structure, but the vibe of the entire album. I get it. It's a celebration and it falls in line with exactly what this album is saying and the general vibe of what it is. So I kind of like that we ended, you know, with the crescendo of sorts, or, you know, we went out with a bang here. I gotta say, the song itself feels like some of like the indie pop tunes, you know, that are kind of trendier stuff from bands like Group Love or MGMT. It totally has that vibe. So yeah, I guess we went out with a bang. And again, it fits with the theme of, you know, putting your heart in that drawer and kind of just, you know, starting over and start reinventing yourself and just kind of dancing the night away and living in the now and in the happiness. And instead of, you know, what we've seen from previous albums where she was very much in her own head and she, you know, had, you know, some real sad moments and some sad girl moments and, you know, got kind of deep on us there for a second. You know, this is definitely a clear shift. Yeah, New Romantics. It's not bad. It's a pretty cool little jam. If I heard this just on the radio or something, I probably wouldn't change the channel. I think it's pretty cool. All right, let's see what Hannah's got to say here. This is the last song of the deluxe version of the original master recording of 1989. Again, one of the best songs of this album, in my opinion. Yeah, absolutely nothing wrong with it. It's just You Are in Love just kind of like left me in a different state, and swinging back around to this is just emotional whiplash. It comments on how young people feel going through their first experiences with love and that they sometimes do not make the best decisions in them. Such is life, my friend. Such is life. Taylor doesn't segregate herself from these young people, though. She even seems to enjoy these experiences in a way. It also holds one of my favorite lines of Taylor, which is hard to say because the list might be endless. Honey, life is just a classroom. I really think that it's true that a classroom of people reflects society to some degree. Yeah, I guess I do too. Sometimes we all just have, you know, high school mentality, you know? There are different groups of people and they all comment on each other. There are rumors and arguments, but there might also be love. Very well said, Hannah. Okay, before I say anything about this album, any opinions I have, there's one thing that I absolutely have to say. And I've had a sneaking suspicion of this thought ever since the second song on this album. And that is, I believe 1989 is a direct response to the critics that said Red wasn't cohesive. Taylor says, you want a cohesive album? Here's one of the most cohesive albums of all times. But no, seriously, from start to finish, this album has some life to it. It almost feels like this could all be one long song. There are returning themes of wider than life basses and these synth pads that are almost angelic, and this kind of synth wave pulsating drum mixed together with layered beat mapping and vocoder-esque stylings. Well, I was trying to finish my recap of this album and I was interrupted by everybody's favorite Kanye fan. Beans was out there barking up a storm, going nuts. Explain yourself, Beans. You haven't even heard 1989. You don't even know. You don't even know what I just experienced. Now, in all seriousness, this album feels like it breathes. It feels like there's some actual life to this album. And these textures and tones are very reminiscent of music from the late 80s and early 90s. It has like that retro wave synth pop sound. but with obviously a more modern production twist to the whole thing. I think Taylor definitely nailed the concept on this one as well. You know, she said it was about kind of shedding her skin and reinventing herself. And I wasn't sure how much I could actually take from that. I didn't know how much I believed in this. People told me that 1989 is a pop Bible. I don't exactly agree. Personally, I think this is less of a pop album and more of an art album. Where are you going, Beans? What do you... Tonally and textually, at its core, yeah, it's a pop album. But personally, I can... Jesus Christ, Beans. But personally, for me, I consider this more of an art album. You want to keep the microphone in one spot? What are you doing? All right, once again, I don't know what it is. My dog loves to ruin these reactions. Yeah, I love the artistic approach through and through. Can I help you? Are we kissing? We're just going to make out in front of people? I don't know how people are going to take that. Anyway, I'm kind of losing my train of thought here. What I'm trying to say is that I truly enjoy the album from start to finish. She took a massive creative risk, and I think it really paid off. I'm sure I missed a ton of Easter eggs on this album. It was just a lot of content to go over and cover. But if I did miss something, please let me know in the comments. And if you could help clarify some things for me, that would definitely help me out. But we're in the thick of it now. Now that we've finished the 1989 album, I'm going to be moving on to the vault tracks. Then we're going to do some music videos from this era. And then I'm going to be moving on to the live performances. And I believe that there's like a tour documentary for this era as well. So it should be a lot of fun. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for me. Hopefully you enjoyed hanging out for a little bit. I'll be back real soon with the next video. And bye now. Say bye, Beans. No? All right, bye.